Hello. I don't know what I'm gonna name this one. But it's a rant about my healthcare this time. I had to go 2 hours back and forth to a town and for an endocrinology appointment. And when I got there, I found out that he just was never sent the tests that he wanted me to do, that I did months ago. And I know I did them, I remember doing them. And oh my god. But then he was like, okay, I was looking at your other things and I found a test from 2021 where you had absurdly high amounts of insulin. And I mean, I already knew that I probably had it, but I got diagnosed with PCOS. I and it's just like, how I took this test back in 2021 when I was moving to Hawaii, because I had to take a bunch of tests in order to go to Hawaii to do school. And it's just like, why didn't any of the doctors, the doctor that saw me, why didn't anyone say anything about this to me? This is like an important thing that someone should know. And this isn't the first time that this has happened to me. For example, my previous psychiatrist, I didn't really like him before this, but I certainly don't like him now. One of the things that he diagnosed me with was bipolar, because I was certain that I had bipolar or something similar. And he ended up diagnosing me with bipolar based entirely off of one of those, like, paper sheets that you get. He, like, glanced through all of them, and then he diagnosed me with, it was bipolar, OCD, which I know I have, obviously, depression and anxiety. I also took an ADHD test, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But, he ended up diagnosing me with bipolar, and I found out later, when I got a new psychiatrist, because, the day that I was going to start talking to him about me wanting to transition and take testosterone, he just straight up just left his job. Like, he quit literally the same day, and I only found out because they called me, like, a couple hours before my appointment to say, I need to make a new appointment with you because he has, like, you know, he just quit today. Ugh. But anyway, I found out from my new psychiatrist that I just, like, definitely don't have bipolar. That, like, the symptoms that I have that look like bipolar, they don't go on long enough to be bipolar, if that makes sense. The episodes that I have that would be like a manic episode, they're way too short, because manic episodes are meant to last for, like, days. But mine only lasts, like, I don't know, like a couple hours, if that. And it makes me, like, I would say, oh, maybe I just, like, misunderstood something on the test, and I took it wrong, and it made me look like I had bipolar more than I actually did. But I also found out from my new psychiatrist, that the results that I had for the ADHD test was abnormal. If you've never taken a TOVA test, it's essentially, basically something will pop up on a screen or a noise will play, and there's two different noises or things that can pop up on the screen, and one of them you don't click for, and the other one you do click for. And then they test, like, your reaction time and your impulsiveness, etc. And apparently those results were abnormal, but the reason why I, like, that nothing, like, the reason why they were abnormal was not because it showed that I had ADHD, it was just that I was ridiculously good at it. So I could still have ADHD, it's just that I can't take the TOVA test because the results are skewed because I play games, I play video games. Ugh. It's, oh my god. And then there was another time with my general practitioner. I sat in the waiting room for a good, like, maybe like 4 or 5 hours after my appointment. We had gotten there, I think, like half an hour earlier, and we waited for like 5 hours for him to see me. And it's not like this was like something that was scheduled on short notice. No, this was something that was scheduled months and months in advance. And that same exact thing happened to my mom too, because we have the same general practitioner. And I was sitting there in the waiting room. I had an appointment that I had to go to, like, in a couple hours. So I thought, okay, as soon as we get in, we can go get something to eat, because I hadn't eaten that day. And then after we get something to eat, we could go to my doctor's appointment. And we sat there for so long that by the time that she got in, she could only talk to him for a couple minutes because we had to leave and just go straight to the place. And it's so frustrating to me because doctors and, like, healthcare, like, providers, they can do that basically all they want, but it's a massive problem if you are, like, late. And it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, I understand that there's, like, a doctor shortage, and, like, there's just, like, not enough, like, doctors, you know, and there's more people than there are doctors, more sick people than there are doctors. So obviously they have, like, stuff to do other than treating me. But I don't know. I find it very difficult to trust healthcare providers because of all the things that I've been through. Like, if literally any doctor had, like, spoke to me about how I had such an absurd amount of insulin in my body, I would have been diagnosed with PCOS back in 2021. Because apparently it was, like, super obvious that there was something wrong with my insulin because I had so much of it. But, like, they just didn't. They just, like, I don't, sorry, it's just, like, so frustrating, because I'm trying to wrap my head around it. I just, like, I don't understand how I'm meant to trust doctors when doctors are just so historically just, like, they just, like, I'm getting so, like, frustrated with just explaining this that I'm, like, forgetting what I'm trying to say. I wanna trust doctors, because, like, definitely a part of my OCD, it's a little bit more of a recent thing, but part of it is that I am very, like, nervous about medical things. I get, very squeamish about stuff like that. Like, it's so bad, that I cannot, like, I cannot sit during, like, lessons about, like, medical stuff. Like, I have to go use a nutrition class. I have to go to a nutrition class because, it's a part of my general ed as being in college. And, there was a part where we were talking about, like, heart attacks and stuff, and I actually almost vomited because of how much it, like, freaked me out. And I'm pretty sure that's a part of my OCD. Is, like, I don't know, being like, well, there's other things that I do about being like really aware about like myself medical wise, and I definitely have lost a lot of trust in doctors since I've started trying to better myself. Cause oh my god, I mean, cause the whole like journey that I've been on to get diagnosed with a variety of things and take medications to make my life better. All of that was entirely spur of the moment, happened at like 2 in the morning because I was reading fan fiction. Sorry, it's just kind of such an insane thing to say, but the entire reason why I've been like diagnosed with everything and like been having to deal with like healthcare providers is because I read a fan fiction where one of the characters was found out that he was a trans man, and he ended up standing up to his father, who was a pastor, uh among other things. And I don't know, that I couldn't relate to it in most of the ways because my parents aren't particularly religious, uh so it's not like I've had to deal with like Catholic guilt or anything, but I don't know, it was just something about realizing that you are trans despite everything that I just really like appreciated about it, I guess. I don't know. It's definitely like stupid, but I don't know. It literally made me text my mom at like 1 or 2 in the morning to say I'm depressed and I want to go see a psychiatrist. And then we ended up going to my GD, and then he diagnosed me with depression and anxiety. And I mean, that was like awesome. That was like easy, and I got on Lexapro and Buspirone. I'm not on Lexapro anymore, but Lexapro really helped me. If I could, I would go back on Lexapro, but I'm on sertraline right now instead, because I'm trying to get my OCD under control. Because I've noticed that whenever my depression is not in check, or when my depression is in check rather, my OCD kind of like takes up the rest of it. I don't know, I feel like I'm explaining this poorly. Basically, if my depression is in check and I'm taking medication for it, but not for my OCD, I become more OCD. Like, my intrusive thoughts get incredibly bad. They're already pretty bad, but they get worse somehow. And I mean, honestly, my compulsions aren't, like, particularly, like, bad. Like, the intrusive thoughts are mainly the bad thing. I can ignore most of my compulsions for the most part, but it gets really bad when I'm only on depression meds. Because I think that the reason for that is that my depression like keeps me from doing things. So, and part of that keeping me from doing things is also acting on my intrusive thoughts. Because I have like, well, I can't say them on YouTube, obviously, but I have some really horrifying ones. And, like, of course, like, the ones, like, oh, you're gonna stab someone, those ones are pretty easy to ignore, because I do not want to do it. But when I'm in, like, I guess when I'm in, like, an altered state of mind, they definitely get a lot harder to, like, control. And, they're pretty, like, disgusting, I'll be honest. Like, if you know anyone who is actually diagnosed with OCD and they've like, like told you about their thoughts, they're honestly probably not even telling you like the worst of the worst ones, cuz they can be horrifying and like really bad, obviously. Like the main ones that I get are like accidentally stabbing someone. Uh Obviously, and I don't want to do that, or like oh yeah, I have a lot of them about like accidentally poking out my eye too. Um those ones are really annoying. It's just like you have this compulsion, not, well, sometimes they're compulsions, sometimes they're more like you're going to like do this, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, and you just have to like think about not doing it, I guess. If any of this actually makes sense. um it's horrible. Having OCD, a lot of people think that it's like just being like clean and orderly, but that's part of it for sure. I have compulsions to wash my hands. I've washed them to the point like I don't wash them like, oh, I don't wash them like for a long time. I wash them repeatedly. So like for example, if I'm cooking something, I will like wash my hands like after like handling each thing. And like obviously that's just good hygiene, but I have just completely like my I have sensitive skin, and I've washed my hands to the point where like they're like red and they hurt, and I just keep washing them anyway. Or not that I'm washing them like I wash them in like increments. Like I'll wash them for like I'll what how am I explaining this poorly? Maybe you understand. I wash them a lot and multiple times. There will be times where I wash my hands twice in a row because they still feel dirty, even though I just finished washing them. It's like annoying, but if I don't wash them, I feel gross. It actually feels like there's a film on my hand, and it's just dirt, and I have to get it off. Uh, and I found, I mean, I don't know if brushing my teeth is also a compulsion, because I get the same kind of feeling from if I don't brush my teeth in the morning, where my mouth feels my my mouth feels like I don't know how to describe it. It just feels like dirty, and that I like I have to wash it. You know, and I just feel like gross if I just don't brush my teeth every morning. And I mean, I there will be times where I won't brush my teeth, specifically when I'm sick, and I keep yeah, or I just realized this like orderly thing is probably also an OCD thing. Eh, I very accidentally, purposefully handicap myself in games like this because I want it to be as I need it to be. Uh, but like on conveyor belt levels and some other levels like this, I can't really control what plants I get, so it upsets me whenever I don't get the correct plants. I don't know. it it sucks so much. I don't I don't like I don't really like having OCD. I don't think anyone likes having OCD. Uh, it just like kind of sucks. And then there's also the people that are like, oh, I have some OCD, and then they don't have OCD, and they like, I don't know, they like having their things in order. I don't know. I find it just like infuriating, I guess. I mean, when I was younger, I did also do that, but to be fair, I was in elementary school and I didn't understand uh what OCD was, and I thought it was just a thing that someone says when they mean that they're just like clean, or they want things to stay orderly. That's what I thought it was when I was younger. As it turns out, it's also like horrifying, you know. You just get compulsed to do horrifying things sometimes. And obviously I don't want that to happen. I don't want to do that most of the time. Other times I don't know, I just like can't help it sometimes. And I do it cuz I think it'll like, well, maybe not help, but I think that it would like be good or like feel good or something. It like never does. Huh. Ugh. I mean, what else is there to talk about the healthcare system? It just like it just sucks. It's just like bad. There's like no redeeming qualities, and that's like it. Like, I don't know, like there's just like I don't know. I've just had so many frustrations with with like healthcare after like trying to get diagnosed with a ton of stuff. Like I don't think I actually said this. I was just calling back my the endocrinologist that I went to go see. Uh it was like a good like 10 minutes before they closed, and they just straight up did not answer the phone. It, like I understand being frustrated when someone is like going in like right before closing. I understand that. But you are advertised as being open until a certain time, and it's not right to like, not be open until that certain time. You know, I get it. It's just, I don't know. It just would have been. I just realized no music played for that last level, did it? Or is there no music during? No, there's music during the levels, isn't there? I don't know. I've just had so much like frustration with having to get diagnosed with stuff. I wanted to call my endocrinologist to tell, cuz what he put me on, it, from my understanding, it was stuff to help with the insulin and also to decrease the amount of testosterone I have. I don't want to decrease the testosterone, and I was going to ask if there was a way that I could do testosterone instead of, instead of like to estrogen, I guess, if that makes sense. Cause PCOS is just like it's an imbalance of hormones, and it doesn't really matter. From my understanding, it doesn't really matter which way it gets balanced, as long as it gets balanced. So I don't know. I'm just really hoping that I could just use this as an excuse to get on testosterone. That would be like really nice. And I mean, like, it also would have been really nice to like be diagnosed with PCOS like a lot earlier than I was. it's the amount of times that doctors have just like essentially hid information from me is completely astounding. It's it's frustrating to just like, because I'm sure that a good portion of it is because of like misogyny. I'm certain it is. I can't prove it, but I'm certain it is. And it's it's just kind of upsetting that I have to deal with all of this just because, you know, and that's like, I have to deal with misogyny, and then I also have to deal with the transphobia and whatever else that gets thrown at me. All within just like, within a setting which people are meant to, you know, fix me and make me better. I don't really have any other topics to talk about. I just kind of wanted to rant about like how terrible the healthcare system and how it's like all but failed me. The next topic that I could really think about is the new Animal Farm movie, but I haven't actually seen it. Look, I'm not saying that every movie that looks like that movie is bad, but the ratio is certainly outstanding. Like, come on. It's just like, you see a movie that looks like that, and you know it's not even gonna be fun, it's just gonna be, like, bad. Like, okay, I haven't watched the movie. I have read the book. I read it in, middle school. But from what I've seen, it's just, like, bad. It doesn't look like it's, like, it doesn't look like it understands, like the book. It's the book is about like communism, you know, how evil and scary it is. I don't know. Maybe maybe a topic about a movie I've never watched is a bad idea. I don't know. I have a lot of opinions on things that I admittedly have not, like, watched. I don't know. Yesterday, I talked for about 40 minutes straight about, like, my family and stuff. And that, like, no, it was 2 days ago now. Because I had to upload it the next day. Anyways, I should not be, like, talking about things that I honestly don't really know that much about, but it's very fun to do, to be honest. It's fun to talk about things that you know, like, nothing about other than what other people have said, I guess. How do you guys pronounce crepe? Because it's most certainly crepe. It has to be crepe, right? Like, I don't care what the French say, it's how it's pronounced. It's most certainly crepe. I know this in my heart and soul. It's certainly pronounced as crepe. This video is, like, so off topic. I want to finish this level and then I'll probably stop recording. When I was younger, I had a very intense fear of the zombie apocalypse happening. and my phone just buzzed. I knew it was going to happen. Like, I was so certain that it would. I just did not know when. And, I was so completely terrified of it happening. And it freaked me out so very much. I used to have this reoccurring nightmare where me and my family were amidst a zombie apocalypse, and I had to decide who in my family would live or die, and they would all die very gory deaths in front of me. This was when I was in elementary school, by the way. I would watch them all die in front of me. And I ended up having the dream so often that I got familiar with it enough to essentially speedrun it. I mean, I had other dreams. Like, I remember there was one where there was a zombie in my house, and I was hiding behind the lazy boy, and I knew I was dead, but I was still behind the lazy boy. From my perspective, the dream was literally just the view, the back of the lazy boy, and eventually my brain would be like, okay, you died, it killed you, the zombie killed you, you're dying horribly. And the reason why I bring this up, other than we're playing zombie game, is because one of the apparently when I was younger, my parents got me this game for the DS, and I cried. I cried over it because it was zombies and I was scared. I very specifically remember being upset about the game over because of the guy screaming, and that was the part that very specifically freaked me out. Sorry, it was I was a little bit ridiculous as a child. Like, I guess, like, maybe other people or other children were also scared of the zombie apocalypse, but I was completely convinced that it was going to happen. Like, it was just kind of like a fact of life for me that, like, one day zombies would come and I would die and everyone that I loved would die. It's a little bit dark. I wasn't as a child, I wasn't very, like, normal, I guess. I mean, there was, like, well, I don't really remember a lot of my childhood. If you watched the previous video, you could probably understand why. Like, I just don't really remember most of it. And, that has caused, like, where was I going with this? I genuinely can't remember. This video sucks. I went into this and I just wanted to yap about how terrible the healthcare system is. And, I don't really want to end the video, but I also don't really want to switch to another game. But at the same time, I don't want to continue playing this game. I don't know. The healthcare system in America is incredibly terrible, and, I really wish I could move to a different country, but that's scary. I can't... I really wish that I could, you know, like, I just wish that there was, after Blover before Starfruit. I just wish that there was, an easier way to go about this with, like, because I did ask if there was a psychiatrist that I could go to that could help me with like transitioning, and I was told that there was none. She didn't even check or anything, so I mean maybe it was I hope it was just because that other people have asked and they just don't have one. But there is a thought that I'm being purposefully like, you know, denied care. Because like I don't know, I find it really difficult to trust healthcare providers considering all the things they've just kind of like put me through. I mm, I'm so one of the first medications that I took instead of Lexapro was fluvoxamine. Um and it ended up making me like basically worse. Like my depression didn't get worse. Or maybe it did. I mean, maybe it kind of well it either made it a little bit worse or it just didn't help at all. But it didn't have literally it basically didn't have any effect on me. And I'm very glad to be off of it. It sucked so bad because it was just you know, it didn't do anything and it made me so exhausted that I couldn't like sleep at all. Or not that that's literally the exact opposite of what I meant. It made me so exhausted that I ended up like sleeping multiple times in one day, just like going home and going to sleep because of how tired it made me, and it just didn't help like at all. So, anyways, on Monday I'm gonna try and see if I can get on testosterone instead of estrogen blockers, or I mean testosterone blockers, because that's what I've been prescribed. But I don't want to do that because anytime that I'm like faced with the possibility of losing all the testosterone that I have in my body, I genuinely freak out a little bit. I have like a genuine response of like I just like is that the right word? Vehemently? I very much do not want to do that. And I don't really care that how like upset my mom is that I have facial hair, by the way. I have a very minor amount of facial hair. And I like it. I mean, I wish it was like better, but I like having facial hair. And I have, from my understanding, I do have more like bottom growth than women typically do because of the PCOS. And I mean, I wish there was more, of course, but I don't know. It's just the entire thing is frustrating, and I just wanted to yap about it, I guess. Okay, goodbye.